Welcome to World History with Mr. Giese. In this episode, we will be discussing the events leading up to World War II. At the end, you'll be able to understand why Germany sought to expand its empire and the alliances they made, and how this would lead Europe into another world war. As we discussed before, after World War I with the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was heavily punished. The conditions humiliated Germans, and the conditions that the people were going through eventually led to Adolf Hitler becoming chancellor. When he came to power, he promised to restore German greatness by expanding Germany's borders to have Lebensraum, or living space. Germany's neighbors knew of this possibility, but they still knew of the devastation of World War I, and no one was willing to fight over Hitler's words. Hitler started to realize that the leaders in Europe were not willing to fight. When he became chancellor, he began to rebuild and strengthen Germany's army. This was a clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles, but the action went unchallenged. Hitler claimed that he was strengthening the army to help Germany resist the spread of communism. The next step that Hitler took to restoring Germany's greatness was militarizing the Rhineland in 1936. He sent a small force into the area that bordered France. Germany was to keep troops out of this area, therefore this, too, was a violation of the Treaty of Versailles. The French and the British started to complain, but nothing was done. Hitler's next step was an action toward Austria. He became more aggressive because he knew the leaders in Europe did not want war. Austria was Hitler's birthplace, and he wanted to unite the German-speaking people of Austria. In 1938, Hitler demanded that Austria accept the annexation. The German term for annexation was Anschluss. When it became clear that Hitler was willing to use force for the annexation, Austrian officials gave in, and in March of 1938, German forces marched into Austria. The independent country of Austria was no longer. Now, with a bigger sense of invincibility, Hitler grew more bold. The next area was in Czechoslovakia, called Sudetenland. This was a German-speaking group of people that were eager to join Germany. Hitler threatened the government, but the Czechs believed that they had the support of the French if fighting started. As both the French and British grew more concerned, they met with German officials in September of 1938 and agreed not to block Hitler's way. The Prime Minister of Great Britain, Neville Chamberlain, believed his policy of appeasement would satisfy Hitler's need for more living space. He was looked at as a hero for keeping another world war from breaking out, and if the Czechs wished to fight, they would do so on their own. At the same time that Hitler was expanding Germany's living space, he started building alliances with other countries. The countries that would be included in these alliances would be Italy, Spain, and Japan. The alliances with Italy and Japan by 1939 built the alliance known as the Axis powers. These countries, in looking for more allies, looked to help Spain out of their civil war to gain yet another ally. In August of 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union worked out a non-aggression pact where neither would attack the other. Stalin did this because he was not confident in Great Britain or France's ability to stop the German army. After this pact was made, Hitler looked to become more aggressive. Knowing he wouldn't have to fight the Soviets on the east, he attacked Poland on September 1st, 1939. This was the moment that World War II would begin. German forces used a tactic called blitzkrieg, or lightning war, to overwhelm the Polish forces, and they quickly defeated them. After this, on September 3rd, Great Britain and France both declared war on Germany. Even before Poland was defeated, though, the German forces were already being diverted to attack France. On May 10th, 1940, Germany would start their attack on France. They did so by marching through the Netherlands and Belgium. And on June 22nd, France surrendered to Germany, leaving Great Britain isolated. The difference between Great Britain and the rest of Europe was that they had the advantage of having the English Channel to slow the German assault, so Germany had to go to the air to try to defeat Great Britain. The relentless bombing of Great Britain by the Germans would be called the Battle for Britain. The fighting spirit of the British was inspired by the new Prime Minister, Winston Churchill. As the British resisted the German attack, one tool that helped them was radar. They were able to see where an attack was coming and prepare or counterattack. This defeat did not slow Hitler down, though. He then proceeded to violate the terms of the non-aggression pact of the Soviet Union by attacking them. The Germans saw success while using blitzkrieg once again to overwhelm the Soviets. This would not last. As winter approached, the German forces were not prepared, and their equipment and vehicles malfunctioned in the extremely harsh winters. The Soviets were now able to rebuild and were now ready to fight back. This war would not only be fought in Europe, but it would also be fought in the Pacific after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. The United States would join the side with Great Britain and France creating the Allied powers. Now fighting could be seen across the globe, with many countries feeling the impact.